July, or like in the month of Ghost. That's how you say it. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this. Hey guys, I'm Jessica and welcome to my channel. So this is my first time doing this. At this moment, I'm not sure what kind of content exactly that I'm going to bring you guys, because honestly nothing is certain at this moment. You know, I might do some other content in the future, but for now it's safe to say that I'm going to bring you guys book related content. So just expect more about you know, books that I read, unhauling, book hauls, those, you know, bunch of booktube stuff. So this is going to be my very first video, and it's going to be very special because I'm going to recommend you books that are written by Malaysian authors, set in Malaysia, and basically is all about Malaysians. So why am I doing this video? Is because we are going to celebrate our Independence Day on this 31st of August. It's our 63rd year of independence. Yay! So in Malaysia, on every August, we basically call it as bulan kemerdekaan, or we would call it as Independence Month, if that makes sense. So basically we just do everything very patriotic, and it's all about, you know, loving our country in this month. I mean, we love our country all day or day, but this month is special because it's all about our negara, our country, Malaysia. So because of that, I'm going to talk about a few books that I've read, and I would totally recommend you guys to go and read for yourself. And I hope that with this video, a lot more of people, honestly I cannot English, a lot of people are going to, you know, read books that are set in Malaysia, especially written by Malaysian authors, so that you guys know how precise the representation is going to be like, and, you know, get a better look at what Malaysia and Malaysians are like. So the first book that I'm going to share with you guys is The Night Tiger by Yang Zichu. So this book is set in Perak in the year 1930s, and so this book is about a houseboy named Ren, who is only 13, and he's on secret mission on finding the missing finger of his dead master, and he needs to find it before the master's soul starts to roam on the earth forever. And then he will cross paths with Jilin, a apprentice dressmaker, moonlights as a dance hall girl to pay her mother's debts. So one night she received this gruesome souvenir from a dance partner. So that's where, you know, this souvenir will lead her to Ren, and that's how they, you know, meet each other and try to solve the mystery about, you know, people are getting killed by this so-called harimau jadian, or this night tiger. It's very interesting. It's more than just the night tiger. Actually, it's not really about the night tiger. It's more about there's a lot of things going on, to be honest. There's this Confucianism, and then there's this you know, what you call it, kepercayaan karut, superstitions. Yes, superstitions. Sometimes I cannot think in English, you know. So yeah, it's about superstitions and all those stuff, and I would totally recommend you to read this. I know that some people have mentioned about they find this book have some problematic stuff in it, but I will let you guys read the Goodreads review and whatnot. For me, it was not really a problem, but, you know, for some who did not sit well with this issue. But I would let you guys go and read the Goodreads review, because for me it's not really a problem. So that's that, and let's move on to the next book. So the next book we have is also by the same author, called The Ghost Bride. This is also, I think, set in Perak. This is set in Malaya. I think it's in Malacca, if not mistaken. So this one, if you guys don't know, it has a Netflix adaptation, it's a Netflix series, and I actually adore the Netflix series more than the book, because I feel like the book has a lot of plot holes, but it's still a pretty decent story for me. It brings out, you know, the culture in Malaysia, and I think the the story is also quite well written. It's just that it has a lot of like plot holes and stuff. So this book is about 17-year-old Leland receives an unusual proposal of marriage to a recently dead son of a esteemed Lim family. So basically this ghost bride is actually a real thing. It's actually a real thing whereby girls back then are asked to marry basically dead people, to the souls of the dead people, and just to like, you know, because the people young died young, so they wanted a wife, but they are not going to marry someone who is dead as well, but they're going to marry a living person, so that that person would basically surrender herself, you know, to just serve the dead for the rest of her life, which is kind of brutal. It's something like when you give for us in Malaysia, whenever you have like this chimbing thingy or qingming jie, we will like give the house or the car, like paper, made out of papers, guys, it's not like a real car, and also like servings, food, and give them to the dead as a, how you call it, as a respect, you know, as a sign of respect. And like every year we do that, especially in the July, or like in the month of ghost. It's how you say it. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this. So basically that's that, but this one is actually trading a real person instead of all this like materials stuff. It's a very interesting story. I admit that in the middle part it could be a little bit dry, but do stay till the end because this is definitely a good read, I would say. Yeah, go and check it out. So the next two books are from my favorite author. So the first book is The Weight of Our Sky by Hannah Alkaf. So this book is about the riot in May 1969, and it's a young adult fiction, I would say. And this book is about Melati Ahmad, and you know, trying to like, you know, make her way to find her mother in the midst of the chaos. And she also met few people such as Vincent and Auntie B, and like her whole family is very wholesome. That's why I love this book so much. And also this book deals with OCD and mental illness, so I'm just going to leave that trigger warning right here. If you cannot deal with mental health issues and OCD, you better think twice before taking up this book, because it's not that light, to be honest, when it comes to Melati's OCD situation, because a lot of things will keep being repeated and stuff, so it was quite heavy on that side. But when it comes to talking about Auntie B's family, I'm really excited, because Auntie B's family, Vincent and his family, is basically me and my family, so I could relate so much to Vincent and his family. So that's why I really love it, because they are like a bunch of Chinese families living in a Malay kampong, so they live with Malay's lifestyle. So that's what I grew up, you know. I grew up in a kampong, so I could totally relate to that, and I was very excited to be able to read this book and, you know, read about Vincent, Auntie B, and, you know, their entire family. It was really wholesome. And then so yeah, I think that's basically it about this book. And oh yes, I want to talk about how this book shows unity in Malaysia, and, you know, it's not just about the Chinese and the Malays. The Indians are also being written in this book, because it's set in Semenanjung, or it's Peninsula Malaysia. It doesn't deal with Sabah Sarawakians, so Sabah and Sarawakians, so it's more of like the main three races that we always hear of. So this is basically a book that is very wholesome. I give this 4 out of 5 stars, if not mistaken, so definitely pick this up. Such a gorgeous cover, by the way. So yeah, and then the next one we have The Girl and the Ghost, also by Hannah Alkaf. This is her recent release. It's a middle grade book. It was released on 4th of August, and this book is about a policet, okay, as you guys can see there. So this book is about policet. So there's this girl called Suraya. I can't remember names that well, so I'm sorry guys. So this book is about a girl named Suraya who basically inherited the grandmother's Balasit, and then she sort of like having this connection with the Balasit, and like she eventually saved him from, you know, getting vanished or something. So this is a book on friendship. I think this is a very cute book. I think all kids should read it. And it could be, some people say it's a bit like scary or like horror. For me, it's not that much, but it definitely has its dark moments. Like one time this book can be very fluffy, and then the other time it could be very sad and emotional. So I feel like the parents should read this book first, only then they decide whether or not to let their kids read this book. So that's basically it. And also this Balasit is basically like a ghost, like a spirit, I would say, and it's called Pink. So that's how cute this book is. Okay, even like the spirit has a very cute name called Pink. And the next two books I'm going to recommend you guys are this book. I'm going to say this book first. The Woman Who Braved Two Worlds by Selena Siak-Chin-Yuk. And this book is about Chinese Peranakan, and I'm really in love with this book. I was crying the whole time I was reading this book. I was taking so long to finish this one freaking book because every 10 pages I would start crying. So it's about Chai Hoon, a very strong character, strong feminine character, that basically, you know, thriving for her whole family. She's like the backbone of the family, you know. Forget about men. Like this book, she's a strong, empowering woman, and we are served with a lot of like Baba Nyonya culture in it. Turkey, the tradition of like how, like when Baba Nyonya get married, the guy could actually live in with the women when the women's family is actually richer. And then we also have this kuih making, cooking, and just a bunch of like wholesome goodness of Baba Nyonya culture. And you guys should read this book. Like read it guys, okay? So it has a sequel, which is When the Future Comes Too Soon. Okay, so this book for me, because that book just now set a very high standard, this book kinda like fell flat for me. I gave it, I think, a 3.5 out of 5 star. This book right now, Chai Hoon is still in this book, but she's right now is old. So the main character, I guess, kind of like the lights kind of like focus on the daughter-in-law, which what's the name of the daughter-in-law? I kind of forgot already. Mei Feng's, yes, Mei Feng's his daughter-in-law, and also the son, which I think they are screwed up in this book. I don't really like their characters, but it's still a very, I would say this is still very great read. It's just that for Malaysians, we learned about history of the Japanese occupation in our textbook. So this book, the way it was written, is a little bit of like textbook-like-ish. So I think that compared to the first book was written so well when it was British occupation, and when Japanese occupation, I feel like it's a bit like too much of textbook material in this. So but I would still recommend you guys to read it. But if you guys don't want to read this, it's fine, but definitely pick up this one. This is such a great read. And I think the last book that I would recommend you guys is House of Koi by Lilian Lee. So this book, I think, is like the first printing that I got from the author in exchange for an honest review. In this book, we have, you know, all the chapters. All the chapters I name as like 新年快乐, 红包拿来, 很乖, Tuala, 再见. So it's basically like Chinese, mixture of Chinese and also Malay words and like things that are significant to us as Malaysians. So what I really like about this book, that the author is really using everything that she could find around her, you know, the schools, the cultures, the food, everything that she grew up with as a Malaysian, which I think that's really brilliant. Like she really described it down to very detail. Like we always have like a broken door for our toilets in school. So that's what the author has done very brilliantly for this book. But despite of that, I'm not sure how the reprints are going to be like, whether they are going to mend the mistakes in this book, because there are a few technical mistakes in this book that I feel like it's just so obvious that you cannot avoid to, you know, you just need to point it out. And the mistakes, I feel, if you are a Malaysian and when you read this book, it's going to be so obvious to you as well. But for those who are not staying in Malaysia, who just don't know about Malaysia, you might, like, you know, just go on with it. But actually there are a lot of like technical mistakes in this book that I hope that have been mended. Language wise, the Malay and the Chinese pinyin is very pinyin is basically the sound system, and how it was spelled in this book, it has quite tons of errors here and there. It was very glaring for me, especially the Malay dialogues. It was just so stiff. Oh my god, like the character who is speaking the language is a native speaker, so it was very stiff coming from a cikgu somewhere. It was just not it for me. But other than that, I would definitely recommend this for the sole reason of it being very Malaysian. And I hope that in future the author would, like, you know, mend everything, like do like proper research and editing before publishing out her books. But I would totally still recommend this book. Just look at the cover, it's very gorgeous, and also the content is very warm, it's very heartwarming. You know, it's about, I'm sorry, I didn't say like what the book is about. This book is basically about Mila, who is transferring from the international school to public school, and then no, it's not public school, it's actually private school. So like she's having these struggles to just fit in and just, you know, be a Malaysian, because she's just too much of, like, you know, when you mix around with international kids, you just kind of like lost a part of the Malaysian side of you, and like you always speak in their language, and you don't, you know, you don't practice the lifestyle of a true Malaysian. That's what it was said in this book. So I would totally recommend you this, of like Malaysian identity kind of book. And it's a very cute story, it's a very heartwarming story, and it's a YA, by the way. So as an adult reader, I'm adult already, guys. I was a bit annoyed with Mila, but I think if you're a young adult, you could totally relate to her teenage self, and how, you know, she just wants to be freed of all of this burden that's going around her, all of this stress that she was having at the moment. But other than that, yep, go check it out if you're interested. So I think that's it for my recommendations. I think I've just went on so long. I actually wanted to do like books that I want to read in future that is set to Malaysia as well, but I don't think I have enough time for that. I'm just going to make this very short and brief, and those are my recommendations for you guys. They are a total of 7 books, and I hope that you guys would enjoy reading them. And, you know, if you guys have ever read these books, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. And if you guys want to subscribe me, go ahead, and I hope that you guys like whatever I'm posting, and see you guys soon. I don't know why I did that, but bye guys.